Hello, I am Mr. Brown, your science teacher. I make videos for students of all ages, and today, gather the family as we explore the science of blood. I'd like you to roll up your sleeve, please. I'm going to go ahead and take a blood draw and get a sample of your blood. Not you, Mr. Vampire Bat. You don't get any. You have enough blood in your body to fill about 3 soda bottles full, but we're not going to take that much. Let's examine your blood. The first thing I want to check is your pH level. If your blood becomes too acidic, you die. If your blood becomes too alkaline, you die. I need your blood to be in this narrow range of pH. I'm going to take your blood and spin it in a machine called a centrifuge. And after several minutes of spinning, your blood will separate into plasma, platelets, red blood cells, and white blood cells. Let's focus in on the blood plasma, which is mostly water, but also contains nutrients, salts, gases, hormones, proteins, and waste products. Ew. The bottom part of your blood here, it contains red blood cells. Red blood cells are red because they are made of a molecule called hemoglobin, which contains iron. Red blood cells are produced inside your bones in what's called the bone marrow. I'm going to go ahead and crack open one of your bones. Crack, there we go. And you can see that bone marrow. Let's go ahead and put a cast on that fracture. That's going to take some time to heal. Sorry about that. Red blood cells are round for a reason. Here's a deformity called sickle cell. People with sickle cell, their blood cells have difficulty making it through the blood vessels. They tend to block and clump up. You know, there's an interesting correlation between sickle cell and malaria, a mosquito-borne disease. Look at that correlation on Africa. Anyway, between these two layers, we find a thin layer of white blood cells and platelets. All of these things coexist in your blood. White blood cells are complicated. There's a variety of different forms here, and they all serve the same basic purpose, and that is to protect you from disease. They will attack anything that doesn't belong in the blood, such as viruses, bacteria, parasites, fungi, or anything else that they determine to be an invader. You know, you can have too much of a good thing, however, if white blood cells divide uncontrollably. It's called leukemia, otherwise known as blood cancer. The other component in the blood are platelets. Platelets are designed to clog and heal injuries, so you don't bleed out your blood. When they are exposed to the air, blood changes and becomes a scab. Look at that. Now let's talk about some more serious injury. One organization that's always been concerned about the loss of blood has been the military. Back in the Civil War, if you got shot and you were bleeding, there's not much we could do for you. However, fast forward to World War II, and the research of blood got to the point where we can replace blood that you've lost through a transfusion. But be careful, not just anybody can get anyone's blood. There are A, B, AB, and O blood types. You got to make sure you put the right blood in the right person, or else it could be fatal. It's so important to soldiers that they will put their blood type either on their boot or their dog tag or even tattoo it right on their arm. This whole positive negative thing just has to do with these Rh factors that are found on the red blood cell. It is your heart that is in charge of pumping blood. Look at that 4-chambered mammalian heart. I like to remember what these chambers do with this little memory trick. The atrium will welcome blood to the heart, and the ventricles will send blood away from the heart. Okay, who has the biggest heart on the planet? That would be the blue whale. The blue whale heart is so big that you could have a nice little apartment inside the heart. Back to you. I would like to take your blood pressure. Okay, and it's going to come in two numbers. The top number will be your systolic, which is the heart pumping blood, and the bottom number, the diastolic, is the relaxation of the heart. 150 over 90. I'm not liking these numbers. This is what's called high blood pressure or hypertension. And I'm going to suggest that you have a doctor look at this. What I want to see is numbers somewhere around 120 over 80. That's considered normal. All right, next, I'm going to go ahead and take your heart rate or your pulse. How many times does your heart beat in 1 minute? A lot of times we'll just get this right on your wrist at the radial artery. I'm not going to be checking at the femoral artery. That's a little bit too uncomfortable and private. We can also check your carotid artery. Go ahead and take your fingers and put it right about there, and you should be able to feel your pulse. What happens if you don't feel a pulse? Well, it means your heart has stopped, and that's not good. We're going to go ahead and perform CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, in an attempt to get your heart going again. If you are an infant, there's a separate technique that we're going to use for you. All right, we got your heart going again, and we have a diagram of your cardiovascular system, and we've coded the different tubes using blue and red to show which ones are full of oxygen and which ones are oxygen depleted. Now remember, your blood isn't actually blue. That's a myth, okay? Your blood is red. If it's oxygenated, it's a slightly different shade of red, but it's still red. We are going to travel down to the smallest blood vessels of them all. They're called capillaries. Capillaries are microscopic and tiny. Some of them are so small that only one red blood cell at a time can squeeze through. This is where our delivery takes place. We have reached your body's cells, and we have a delivery of oxygen, nutrients, and water. But your cells also have something to give. They have waste products that need to go and carbon dioxide. We're going to go ahead and head back to the heart. Don't forget, if we are pregnant, we've got to send blood to the little fetus, and that's going to be delivered through this little tube here called the umbilical cord. If you look down at your tummy right now, you'll see you have a belly button. That's where your umbilical cord used to be. Thank you for joining me today on the science of blood. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.